And we are back. Speak Up Women Art Social Justice is an exhibition amplifying the voices of women artists addressing critical social issues. Now, this captivating showcase profoundly explores women's rights and broader social justice themes. We've got here with us in studio artist and guest curator Valeri Larko, and then we've also got Daina Higgins. And we thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. We're honored to be here.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to say, first of all, you know, the colors are matching. We're off to a good start.
We are, sir.
That's good. That's good.
Let's
That's
do
good.
it.
So when we talk about women and social justice, obviously an opportunity to really speak about some issues that really matter most. And at the same time, we got some other things going on as well. So talk to us about it.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes.
I curated the show, and I know all of the artists in this exhibition. They're all very strong women with strong voices, and they've been making art for decades. A lot of it with social justice and women issue themes. So right here is Daina Higgins, and she can talk about her work in this show. Here's the poster for the show. Designed by Echo Caravan. She's a wonderful designer and also a wonderful activist and artist. And we have Daina, so go ahead, take it away, Daina, talk about your work.
Okay, so my work in the show features my pandemic protest series that began during the pandemic lockdown 4 years ago, sort of timely that we're on this anniversary of the declaring it a national emergency. And I started out, I'm a painter. I primarily paint urban landscapes like Valeri. And I was painting sort of the depopulated outdoor spaces in my neighborhood. At the time I was living in Philadelphia. And then there was amid this sort of summer of 2020, one of the largest civil rights movements we haven't seen since the 1960s. And so I began to focus on that as my subject.
Wow. And so to really have all of these unique people capture, you know, social justice and then also a message. There's a message behind all of this, right? So go ahead and tell us.
Well, the message is speak up, but also listen up. These women have been making art and caring about women's rights, social justice, and other rights for a long time. But I think we are at a very critical period right now where we are backtracking on a lot of civil rights and women's rights. I mean, with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, I mean, we can know that women are under attack. You know, people think abortion, oh, everybody just wants one. That's not the way it works. Abortion is health care. Sometimes abortion is extremely necessary. And to say, oh, a politician can make that decision about a woman's right, what happens to her body, instead of it should be between the woman and her doctor, this is incredibly bad for society, bad for women, bad for children, bad for every aspect of human rights.
Right.
And so that's a big part of this. And then there's other stuff that deals with misogyny. During the pandemic, Rodriguez Calero, one of the artists in the show, she has a series called Target of Prejudice. And several of the pieces in the show deal with women, Asian women, being targeted during the pandemic. We remember the former guy had a very derogatory term for the pandemic, called it the Asian flu, and that resulted in a lot of women and Asian women and men, but for some reason Asian women were targeted more, being hurt, being killed, being murdered. I mean, people don't really think about how society, how politicians, they just spout off sometimes, and they really hurt everyday people.
Let me ask Daina for a second,
Yes.
talking about the intersection, right? Because there's this huge intersection between art and social justice, art and women's issues. And, you know, this is compelling because when we see art, obviously it's an attention grabber. But then for the artists themselves, what grabbed your attention to say, I want to use my art and, you know, create this intersection?
Well, I have a background in graffiti. I was one of the few female graffiti writers during the 90s. I had a long career in graffiti art. So I'm not afraid to get my name out there and to speak up about something that bothers me. That sort of more or less led to activism during the 2000s, and I've volunteered on political campaigns, and I've always felt that everyday people can make a difference, and that includes me, an artist. Yeah.
And part of your work is actually, your art is actually speaking against oppression.
Yes, it is. I feel like there's a lot of shared struggle going on right now in this country with the rollback of rights, as Valeri spoke about. And it's important that we, get together and stand up for ourselves.
Yeah. And so people have an opportunity to take part. Talk to us about what they can do in order to see the intersection of art and then also social justice and women's issues.
Well, the show is up until April 21st. It opened on March 8th, which was International Women's Day, so it was a very appropriate day to open the show. Our next event is a Sunday soiree on the 24th of March, and that will be from 4 to 7 p.m. We also have an artist talk at the gallery. The gallery is in Red Hook, Brooklyn. We also have an artist talk on Saturday, March 30th, and that's from 3 to 5 p.m. And then we do have a closing reception on April 18th, that's a Thursday, from 6 to 9 p.m. The show is also open to the public, and we are getting a lot of requests for groups, women's groups, other groups that want to come and see the show and talk about it with the gallery owners. I want to give a shout out to Liz Galvin and Jamie Walker. These women are powerhouses. This is an artist owned and a woman artist owned and operated gallery by two artists, and they've done a great job, and they're not afraid to shy away from important issues too. I have to say a lot of galleries wouldn't have touched this show. So shout out to the wonderful women who run this gallery.
And they really did put their name out there and stood behind it.
Yep.
All righty.
Wonderful.
Well, we got to leave it there. Valerie, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, Daina, for being with us as well.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, glad to have you. All right, now, if you want
pleasure.
more information, please visit the website at ValerieLarko.com. And then also you got DainaHiggins.com. I can do that for you, actually. There's a little poster right here that you didn't catch. And you can see these posters out there. Make sure you get connected. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.